Hello, my dear friends, and welcome to Italy, a place to love YouTube channel, the channel where I like to talk about the good, the bad, and all we have to know about the life in Italy. All right, so today's video is about natural disasters. All right, which it seems to be like a big issue for everyone. Anyway, nowadays we are affected by many of these things. These natural disasters are happening quite often, maybe even more often. And so let's see what Italy, a place to love, alias Antonio, has to say about this topic. Now, I'm not gonna say much from my point of view, but I will read one very interesting post that I found on Facebook on the group Expats Living in Italy. All right, and they're concerned about natural disasters and issues about weather related. Let's say, all right. So now, before I get serious, okay, please put like and subscribe, press the bell, smash the hype, and do whatever you can to help Italy, a place to love YouTube channel. All right, so let me fix my hair a bit crazy this morning. We don't care. We don't care much. I should care a lot about, but I'm not caring. All right, so let's start and let's read this interesting post, which is a bit difficult to read for me because there are very technical terms. So I'll try to read slowly for you to understand perfectly. All right. Now, Italy is a country at high geological risk due to its young and unstable geomorphological characteristic. Geomorphological, all right. Young and unstable. Unstable, yes. Young, I don't know. Which make it vulnerable to hydrogeological instability, which it make it vulnerable to hydrogeological instability, such as landslides and floods. Now, landslides and floods are also very important, nowadays to think about this, in particular before we are buying a house, before we are buying a property, because it's mainly related, to where to buy. Anyway, plenty of issues, plenty of problems. Added to these, natural factors are anthropogenic. Genie, this word is quite difficult for me to read. Added to these natural factors are anthropogenic ones, so they're caused by the humans. So let's say some are natural disasters, some might be caused by the humans, such as land use, which I kind of agree because maybe we use too much the land. Urbanization, constructions, and climate change, also because, anyway, we are all experiencing this issue nowadays, which intensify and exacerbate existing risks. Those coming from countries with similar risks, such as the United States. Now, United States has plenty of natural events, let's say from tornadoes, storm, hurricanes, some areas maybe even earthquakes and floods. So, United States are kind of another one of this territory where you might have these type of problems, are perhaps accustomed to the natural disaster, but it would be interesting to know if any expats living here in Italy have had similar negative experiences, since even these days, with the change of seasons, violent storms, flooding, and river overflows are occurring, especially in the north. Let's say 50-50. The north has a particular, the geomorphological territory of the north of Italy is particular because it's surrounded by the Alps, plenty of rivers. They are all going to the Padana Valley, to the what we call it in Italy, Pianura Padana, the flat area of the north of Italy. So, and that's where a lot of floodings, for example, are happening nowadays in Italy. But so let's start reading the comments now. There's someone showing pictures. October 24th. Now, probably last year they had a flood. So we have been hit by flooding twice. So this person lives in Italy. I have so many more photos and videos because she's sharing. I will also share actually this post, which I'm making the video now, this post on expats living in Italy. I will also share it on my Facebook group called Italy, a Place to Love. So you are free to join my group if you want to see the original post. And then if you want to see the picture posted by some of the followers of this group. So don't forget to join Italy, a Place to Love Facebook group. So we have been hit by flooding twice. I have so many more photos and videos. My husband's family has lived here since the 80s and they never had any issues up until 2023. The first flood hit. So basically, some people, yes, are experiencing flooding just recently, maybe in some places that where they never have experienced this before. So it's kind of, but for me, the floodings can be related by many things. First of all, maybe we built too much, too many constructions, and obviously, but also in Italy we have an issue which we are not cleaning properly the banks of the rivers. This is a big issue. This is a topic that Italian people are discussing a lot. The fact that there's no maintenance at all about of the banks of the rivers or of the sewings. So some maybe find obstacles or they're closed. So that's why now we are facing a lack of maintenance also. This is my cause, but I don't know. I'm only reporting what people are discussing. Obviously, it's very important to do the maintenance of the sewings and the banks of the rivers. Now, yes, it's the worst thing ever. I solve it by moving house. Now, someone who probably had been hit by a flood, that's what. Now, it's not written here, but I can guess because there are some replies. This is how we are solving it too. We are in the process of moving. So some people maybe who bought a house in the wrong place. Again, it's very important to investigate the territory before we are buying. Very, very important because then you might regret. And then, like in this case, you might be forced, to sell and to rebuy somewhere else if you want to avoid this type of problem. Someone saying, for example, but are you talking about the Valencia's flood last year? I remember there was big flood in Valencia last year. I think actually a lot of casualties as well. And now someone says, I'm on top of the hill. Now, could be a smart move to buy a house on the top of a hill. But even when you're buying on the top of a hill, check the territory around because you might have the opposite problem, the opposite issue, which is landslides. So not only, let's say, not only places at the bottom of the hills, at the feet of the hills, what we say in Italy, ai piedi delle colline or ai piedi delle montagne, at the feet of the mountains or at the feet of the hills. This is an Italian expression, ai piedi delle montagne. But on the top, you might have the problem of the landslides. So there's not really a safe place. I'm trying just to give you a general picture, to warn in advance about all the correct types of problems that we might issue. All right, now I'd say definitely beware of flood prone zones, and also beware that when you buy a home or property, there likely will not be a disclosure telling you if there has been flooding or whatever in the past. Yes, nobody technically is gonna tell you in Italy if the place where you are trying to buy had been affected by a flood, for example, or any sort of issues. Can be an earthquake, can be a previous landslide, or different anything might happen in Italy. They don't really tell you disclosure, let's say. Also, when you buy homeowners insurance, sorry, pay very careful attention to what is to what is or isn't covered, and at what amounts. That's very important. Anyway, important to read the insurance. Worse than any of the earthquakes we have lived through in 2 decades, here was watching my son take disaster risk management in Uni in Perugia, eye opener. So anyway, Umbria, and here Perugia is in Umbria, worse than any of the earthquakes we have lived through in 2 decades. Yes, because Umbria had been affected by severe earthquakes. The central Italy had been affected more than the north and the south of Italy. The regions which had more problems were Umbria, Emilia-Romagna, Marche, and Abruzzo. This region had been affected, but also new properties, new homes new houses that have been built to the best standards. Also, to say maybe we have to worry a bit about the old houses, but the new one. So then we lived in a medieval city on a high hilltop surrounded by walls. We are good. All right, yeah, medieval cities, let's say, they were built with constructions methods of the days, so they were even more conscious. The construction were more solid, so there was a kind of way in the medieval times to protect against this type of events. Then, no matter what happens, you want to have a glass of spritz ready. No matter what happens, it will cheer you up. If it doesn't work, try a Negroni. Wow, that's fantastic. I love this comment. Whatever it happens, anyway, have a spritz, Aperol spritz. Let's make a bit of advertising. I guess many of you love Aperol spritz. I'm wondering if you ever tried Negroni, which I used to prefer much more than the Aperol spritz. First of all, Negroni is a bit higher in percentage, in alcohol percentage than Aperol. And you can just make Negroni and white wine, no Prosecco, because the spritz is with Prosecco, but try Negroni. Sorry. Oh, I messed up. Negroni is a heavy cocktail, okay, but which is made with Campari. So it's Campari, gin, and vermouth, if I'm not wrong, the Negroni, which is this Italian cocktail. No, but I would recommend you just Campari and white wine. Campari is a bitter like Aperol, so go for it. Campari and white wine. Then if you want a splash of soda as well. If you put white wine, any cheap white wine, Campari, and you want to make it a bit fizzy, just a splash of soda. Then how is Italy young and unstable geographically? Definitely not young, as it's been there since at least Moses. All right, so here they want to say it's not very young. I mean, it's true, it's not a young territory. It is in a major fault line and is very mountainous, which will lead to flooding and landslides given the topography. Exactly. I mean, it's mainly by the topography. I like this term, the topography of the territory. And Italians are dealing with this type of problem since Moses, let's say. So it's nothing new. It's not something that, Italy is only witnessing this type of problems in the recent times. We witness. Um, Okay, so although I'm not a US expat yet, I come from St. Louis, Missouri. This spring we had a major tornadoes that did severe and devastating damage to neighborhoods in our city. The spring storms seems more severe each year and we frequently get flooding. When I get to move after retirement, I will simply need to accept the climate I have chosen. Absolutely. Take it. It's part of the life. Climate is not the main reason I'm choosing to become an expat. However, I appreciate your perspective and question on this topic. Best wishes. Because it's a very interesting topic. I mean, time to time, I will always make a video about if I find an interesting post or something, some news quite interesting about this topic related, why not to make a video? Now, if we live wondering about all these things, we forget to live, so anywhere you go, there you are. Now, I never lived anywhere with so many storms. Piemonte region, so northwestern part of Italy, you name it. In the last 5 years, I have had it. Flooding, hailstones like golf balls. Yeah, we might have also hailstones, which quite big, hurricanes, but the pluses all outweigh the storms. Anyway, storms are affecting, many places, not only in Italy, in Europe. And I've seen there was a storm in Ireland. How many times I witnessed storms in Ireland coming from the Atlantic, we get used to everything. I live in Messina. Now, Messina is Sicily, an area that has had its share of earthquakes. There was a big earthquakes, I think in 1911, if I'm not wrong, nearly more than 100 years ago, and destroyed completely Messina and Reggio Calabria. Our houses and apartment blocks are built to withstand them, so they're built with standards now to resist these type of events. I've been here for 40 years and no, they don't scare me anymore. I love living here, and climate changing is happening all over the world. That's absolutely true. I mean, there's no again. We always go and discussing about the same thing. That unfortunately these type of events are part of Mother Nature of the life. Now in Sardegna, interesting. Ad esempio, non ci sono terremoti e le inondazioni sono assai rare. So Sardinia never witnessed earthquakes. Now, if you are really, really scared about earthquakes, or Salento area, the southern part of Apulia, or Sardinia. These are the two geographical areas which never been recorded an earthquake before. And also floods are very, very rare in Sardinia. Even if I remember a few years ago, maybe 4 or 5, I remember a few severe floods, but again, Sardinia is big, depends where, it depends by the areas. To me, it is nothing. I live in Puglia 25 years and in Lombardia, Lombardy, Milan, 3 years. I didn't experience natural disasters at all, besides few times heavy rains caused some big puddles on the streets. Then, 7 years living in California, I experienced 4 major floods, 3 big firestorms. All right, firestorms, wildfires. This is another type of natural event, natural disaster. 3 big firestorm and evacuations. Wow, even evacuation. But we remember recently, the wildfire in California. Shocking, crazy. 1 earthquake, heavy winds that caused trees falling down, destroying houses, and a couple of lives. Then mudslides that blocked streets and transported whole houses. And tsunami. Wow, so many tsunami, even tsunami. I'm not familiar with this, but anyway, she's saying, I like this, not like, but this person said, I lived 25 years in Italy. which of three in Lombardy and never witnessed any natural disaster. In 7 years in California, she has experienced. All right, then, yes, but no hurricanes. Anyway, the other day I saw the picture in a town that I love, which is Barletta, and I was planning to. I'm still planning between Barletta, Trani. I'm thinking about to buy something over there in the coming years. Gini, but I saw tornadoes. There were pictures. I also share a picture of a little tornado. I don't know if it's a little big, but anyway, they're coming from the sea. And in the south of Italy, actually, this summer, I not witnessed, but I saw many posts showing these type of tornadoes in Calabria, in Apulia. So I don't remember this type of events, but this is something like new for me. My family left Italy after a major windstorm in 1970 and missed the devastating earthquakes a few years later. I mean, lucky them that they missed the earthquake. Probably, anyway, we had a few severe. Uh, anyway, so that the fact that they left, and they avoided to experience that, nothing better. Then there is no safe place. Oh, this is my favorite sentence. There is no safe place. Maybe Switzerland, except for its avalanches. Wow, avalanches, I forgot. And glaciers melting. There was one recently last year in Switzerland of a glacier that destroyed completely a town. They had to evacuate totally. Portugal is overdue for a big earthquake. I don't know. I'm not really following that situation. And now they have droughts and wildfire. I can't even go in a cave to hide. It's pretty quiet in my neck of the woods in West Michigan. Can't even go. It's pretty quiet in my neck of the woods in West Michigan. We just get thick smoke from the Canadian wildfires. Cough, cough, good luck. All right, so it seems like in Canada they had big amount of wildfire. All right, there is not much urbanization going on. If you watch too much of mainstream, you will hear of scary disasters that happen all over the world. Just chill and trust the highest. Why not? Always. Where in the world can one be sure that suddenly a natural disaster can occur? Again, there is more to Italy than this, which far outweighs the odd natural disturbance. We live in an area which is prone to landslide whenever there are heavy rains. As residents, we make a small annual contribution to rectify the roads and bridges. I will take this autumn view anytime. In the mountain, close to the mountains, is very, very high chances to have landslides, and they have in some parts of the mountains. Really, is a common thing. It's nearly it's nearly normal to have this type of event every year. Every place in the world carries risks. I take ordinary precaution and do not worry much about it. Same here. Then, just like in the US, there are vast regional differences in the risk you state. In Tuscany and along the Tyrrhenian coast in northern Calabria, there is very little risk of earthquake from there is very little risk from earthquakes, for example. The Tyrrhenian coast in northern Calabria. Don't know, yeah, not true. They've never been recorded, but again, territory. Check out planning, very useful, and so on. And then someone said, "Oh, we live in California 32 years. We witnessed so many of these type of events that doesn't scare us anything anymore." All right, my friends, quite long video, but I hope you have enjoyed. And so let's see what's gonna happen next. Hopefully, nothing, no major issues, no major problems caused by these natural events. Anyway, there's nothing we can do in front of Mother Nature. So, my friends, I'll see you here on Italy, a place to love. Stay safe, be safe, and subscribe to my channel. Bye.